we are going to have an overview on the third task in business environment. So just to give a heads up to Venkatesh, since there are only 3-4, I think I'll take this opportunity to introduce this too. You'll get a formal introduction on this on the opening day, Venkatesh. See, the PMP examination is revolves around this document called Exam Content Outline 2021. So that is the syllabus for the examination. So the syllabus covers the 3 broad areas. Okay, people, process, and business environment. The people attracts 42% of the questions. So that means it will roughly around 78 to 80 questions will be there. Process 50, so that is around 90 questions, and business environment 8%, that is around 14 to 15 questions. Okay, so now what we are doing now is taking each domain. We actually covered people series through, I think, around 6 to 8 seminars, and then we have taken up a business environment. So on this topic, actually this is 4th webinar. So what we are doing is what we don't cover in our regular training. So we try to pick up a few threads and then deep dive into this webinar so that it complements the people who are in the preparation journey. And of course, we are keeping it open. Anyone who are even certified also can attend, but they may not be very interested because they already got the certification. Okay, but especially for the people who are in the preparation journey, this series will be very useful to supplement their training and the preparations. So this is the 4th program as part of the business environment. And also this is the last program. Afterwards, we will go to process, and then that will be a big area. There are about 17 tasks in process. So we may take about 15 to 20 sessions and we will run over the next maybe 6 months, okay, on that domain. That's our roadmap. Okay. So today we are going to see this 4th task, how to support organizational change through your project. Okay, also how organizational change can impact project, and then how do you cope up, okay, back and forth. Okay, it's actually a very big topic. Okay, so in fact, it is a area by itself or a domain by itself. There are even certifications available in terms of how to navigate through changes within the organization. Okay, it's a very big topic, and so let's try to see okay, how we can do that in the given maybe about 40 minutes or so we will do, and then we'll take up a small quiz that will come from Sam's table as a hot cake. He's going to brew it just now. Even I don't know what questions he's going to ask. Okay, we'll try to test ourselves on those areas. Okay. It is not just for examination centric. I find these sessions more than exam. Okay, so I think I have a good number of my own colleagues and also 3 of you. So let us enjoy the session, learn from each other, and then get benefited. Okay. So this was the first topic that we did, manage compliance requirement. And this was the second topic we did through the second webinar, evaluate and deliver project benefits and value. So this was the third topic, evaluate and address internal and external. This is also around change, but this is more at the project level, how to cope up with the change. Okay, where it involves governance, change control board, configuration management, change management. So these are the topics that will be part of topic C. Now here, how to support changes at the organization level. Okay, this is a very different dimension that we will go through it as part of this session. Okay. Now, there is one attribute of project. Okay, there are 5 attributes any project carries. 1 second, I'll just pick up a pen. Annotate. Prashant, this annotation bar is hidden by the bottom toolbar. How do I overcome this? Are you there, Prashant? Okay.
Yeah, he's.
1 second, just give me a minute. Okay, I can pick it up here. Okay. Dark color. Okay, so there are actually 5 characteristics of any project. Can you connect? Can you please tell us?
Yes, sir.
Prashant,
Yes, sir.
okay, I was asking you a question. So in my primary monitor, I'm not able to see that the bottom, it is hiding by the toolbar. How to take it out?
Start the slideshow again, sir. There is some program which is running, which is keeping it open.
Okay.
Start this to
okay, I got it. Okay, I don't know how I got it. I got it. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so there are 5 key attributes of any project. Okay, 2 of them are in the definition itself. There are 3 more. Okay, you all should know. What are those 2 that is part of the definition itself quickly? And then the other 3 we will list it down. At least these 2 you have to list it. Deepti, welcome, and Vasant, welcome. There are 5 unique attributes of any project.
Change is one.
Okay, change is not part of the definition. Okay, I will put it as
unique and temporary.
Yes. Okay, temporary and unique. Okay, and then 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Okay, which is also there, but it is not part of the definition. Okay, so you already said, I'll write it here. Every project, okay, drive a change. Okay, so this is the 3rd attribute. 4th attribute, anyone? Okay, I think you might not have seen it. Every project is a business value enabler. Okay, every project enables business value for the organization. Every project drives a change. And the 5th attribute, okay, every project should have a context. Or we can also call it as a trigger. Okay, now if these 5 attributes are not there in any given project, you can say that that project is not very attractive to the organization. If there is any major problem comes up, such projects are likely to be cancelled or put on hold. Okay, when you want to develop a selection method for a project, you can do that. Okay, what is the uniqueness about the project? Okay, when it starts, when it is supposed to end, and then what kind of change the project is driving. Okay, what kind of business value this project is likely to enable in the future, and what is the context or trigger for this project? You should have an answer for all these 5 questions. Okay, now what we are discussing today is around this. Okay, how a project drives or should drive a change, and how you as a project manager will support that change. Okay, what we have seen last week, okay, is more of managing a change. Okay, here it is supporting the change. When we say managing a change, okay, it is through change management process, okay, or change management system, change control board, and then we talked about configuration management, okay, and then few other related aspects. Okay, that is for the task number 3. Now here, how you support an organizational change, okay, is important. And this is the most difficult in any given project or program. Okay, in fact, if you specialize in this, okay, you can be a great consultant for any transformation initiatives within any organization. Okay, wherever there is a transformation comes up, okay, this change is inevitable. Okay, without a change, you can't make transformation, whether it is an individual or enterprise or for a nation. Okay, that is the hardest thing to do. Okay, so this is the context I want to set before step into the session. So any of you have any questions, please feel free to stop anytime, and then we can discuss and answer. Since we are a handful of audience, okay, we can make it very interactive and then keep going. Shall I go on?
Yes, sir. As of
Okay, right. From a PMP exam perspective, so these are the enablers for this task. You'll see that there are 4 enablers. Assess organization's culture, number 1. Okay, second, evaluate impact of organizational change to determine required action. Okay, maybe evaluate impact of organizational change on the project. And the third one, evaluate impact of the project to the organization. Okay, you can say, take it as a project to organization, organization to project. Okay, both need to be handled because the project will suffer or the project will enable. Okay, and then how do you recommend, plan, and facilitate that change? So these are the 4 things. Okay, and as I was telling you, this is a very, very important task, not outside, not just limiting to examination. So in any case, every such change should be handled systematically. So here in terms of rollout, training, and then if any unanticipated change comes up, change management plan, and then other related artifacts. Tools, okay, enterprise environmental factors. Last week we studied, last fortnight, in terms of PESTLE, political, economic, social, okay, the technological and legal, okay, factors we discussed. And then OPAs, organizational process assets, in terms of the policies, processes, procedures, etc., and historical information. Okay, so all those things are impacted as a result of these changes. Okay, then when it comes to especially agile projects, okay, frequent demos okay, will actually enable and support organizational change. Okay, at different stages of the project or different iterations. And then the project manager and the PMO, okay, enable it. Along with, you also need to understand the various structures that can influence these changes. Okay, many of them we have already covered as part of our regular training. So we'll see few things that is not covered. And then how do we go about? The first and foremost, I think this is something which we have not discussed or we don't discuss much in our 35 hours training. Okay, now PMI going more in this direction. Okay, I could see its impact on the 7th edition. I have also brought a few artifacts, practices from 7th edition to substantiate. So in any given project, you all know that, okay, it revolves around activities, outputs. Okay, outputs, when we call it, it is in the form of deliverables. Okay. So even in the very definition, we see project is a temporary endeavor to create, okay, to create unique product, okay, or service or result. Okay. Now this largely speaks about outputs. Okay. Now PMI has recognized that output is not enough. Okay, it is essential but not sufficient to see success in any given project or program. Okay, so you will see they are moving gradually towards output, from output to outcome. Okay, only if you reach the outcome, then you can consider an endeavor as success. So I just want to pause here and ask you, what is the difference between output and outcome?
Can we understand it as output is basically the physical deliverables which are measured. Outcome
Okay.
could be the value added benefits. How
Excellent. Okay. Beautiful, Sriram. Okay. Outputs are tangible deliverables, physical or service oriented. But outcome is realized when the organization received the value out of this output. If they don't realize the value, then this output is as good as dead. It is of no use. Okay. And can anyone quote an example? Any of you? Quote an example and illustrate the difference.
Sir, outputs, it's like there are various stages of milestones achieved during the project life cycle, like some of like engineering, starting of the engineering or completion of engineering, and any procurement activities starting, negotiation.
So there are a lot of outputs are there at the stage level. Okay. But here I'm talking about the final output. Okay. Final output. Okay. That is why we say use the word product or service and result. So these are not the interim deliverables. This is the final deliverable out of a project. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is it is essential, the final product, but to see a success out of an endeavor, that alone is not sufficient. It is essential but not sufficient, okay, in order to get the value. So any other example anyone can share? I got the output, but I failed to reach the outcome.
We can just take a common example of a mobile with a lot of value added features and all. probably it has derived its output. But when it
Yes.
comes to the benefit that the company would have envisaged, probably if the product gets into the market and gets a big share, that if it would not, if it is achieved, it has benefited. If
Beautiful,
it is
beautiful.
otherwise,
Okay. I have developed a very state of art, okay, super duper mobile. Okay, so the output is good, tested, validated, fantastic. There are a lot of reviews. Even there is a patent pending. Okay, all those things are there. But if it is not put into the hands of the user, and if it not doesn't bring money to the organization and benefits and value to the user, then the whole journey of development is only self-satisfaction. It is of no use to the company. Okay, beautiful. So, there is a vast gulf, big gulf between output and outcome. Okay, now can you identify one important parameter, that should be brought in this in gap to may reach from output to outcome? One important thing
probably a
which is
customer feedback.
okay, customer feedback, which actually validates it, but it is not making it to move from output to outcome.
Yeah.
To move from output to outcome, what needs to be imparted or affected? What should happen between this period, between this dot and this dot? What should happen? Anybody else?
Probably a proper communication of the deliverable so that it reaches the end person.
Communication. Okay, then
the beneficiaries adapted the technology.
who said that?
Papan.
Okay, the beneficiaries ADOPT, adapt this product. Okay, if they don't adapt this product, it will be like buying a Mercedes or BMW and then put two bullocks before that and then put a bar and then drag it to roll it to the village. Okay, so what is the use of buying a Mercedes or BMW just because you had money if you don't adapt to the new product and then drive it majestically into the place? Okay, so this adaptation is critical to success. Okay, that is what we are talking today. Okay, support organizational change. Okay, so this adoption involves change. Okay, now if you look at it, in order to develop this mobile, probably you would have spent maybe some 5 CR. Okay, or in order to maybe 50 CR, I don't know, depending upon that. Okay, what is the level from which you are taking up? Now, let's assume you have spent about 50 CR. Okay, and what do you think investment required to get this change done? $50 CR invested on the product. Okay, how much you may have to pay to make this change happen? And then you will see probably a 500 crore revenue out of it. What you need, what have to be done? How much you have to invest?
Maybe additional 10%.
Maybe additional 10%. Okay, or 20%. Okay, even if you put it 20%, it is 10 CR. Because of this 10 CR, not thought about it and also invested judiciously and make sure that the change is brought into the target audience. You will see sometimes even this 50 CR also gone into the drain, and this opportunity to earn this 500 CR also doesn't happen. Okay, so many such projects don't see the light at the end of the road. Okay, can you identify any such projects at the national level or at the organization level? Any such products failed miserably or organization failed miserably?
So can we say Polavaram?
Okay, Polavaram is not change, I would say. It is more of implementation, is it not? Okay, they're all more plagued with implementation issues rather than change. So when we say change, everything is ready, but people are not willing to adapt, and because of which project is scrapped.
Okay, sir.
Any suitable examples?
Sir,
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir, this is Venkatesh.
Yeah.
Sir, just since we are talking about this mobile example, I'm just trying to correlate with the Nokia mobile.
Exactly. Okay. The Nokia story is a classical story, both in terms of bringing benefits and outcome, and pulling their own legs and then go on into it. But as a company, they are doing extremely well. Okay, it is a flagship company in different areas. Nokia is just one segment. Okay, but they were not willing to change. Okay, Nokia, BlackBerry. Okay, now if you take our Indian behemoths, BSNL, HMT, you can even, I don't know, what are
Alvin,
Alvin,
HMT, yeah, correct.
Okay, ECIL. Okay, just because Department of Defense they adopted it, it is surviving. Otherwise, if they continued with their old TVs and other things, they would have closed it long back. Okay. Now you can name it multiple organizations. Okay, so they have not adapted change. So slowly they become white elephants and then gone out of the market. Okay, so that's the thing I'm bringing in, especially when it comes to social sector projects. This is much more important, but in today's scenario, every project, every program, okay, this change is vital. Okay, this change is vital. Okay, so if you are a leader and if you are able to, okay, influence and bring this change, I tell you, you can become a great hero in any organization. Okay, right. So
Sir,
yeah.
can we say that the opposition party Congress is undergoing this decadence or stagnation
Very
and
true,
unable?
very true. Okay, they're not. There is no kind of. They're not able. They're struggling. Okay, how to cope up with this, and there is no leader. We will discuss this as we go down the line. How to effect that change. Okay, which our ruling party leaders are too good at it. Okay, so they are able to manage that.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Let's move on. Now, in order to support organizational change, a thorough understanding of the culture is very essential. Okay, so this is the PMI's official picture, organization's culture. So now what is culture? Okay, what are the key attributes of culture? So you will see here their ethical values, the code of ethics and professional practices. Okay, we'll speak about the culture. In fact, our BD received a request today saying one of the organization, Okay, they have a person of 60 plus age. He said that he's too busy, he's too old, he cannot sit for 35 hours, he cannot sit for 3-4 hours of exam. But the client is insisting that, okay, he must be a certified PMP. Is there any way by which, okay, you guys can sit for him on his behalf and write the exam, get him a PMP? We are willing to pay any amount. Okay, I'm not joking. This is a request came to us. Okay, so now you can immediately, we can assess what kind of culture, okay, the company is holding, okay, in providing their services. Okay, now this is, I'm not telling anything. Okay, today I can tell you 7 or 8 out of 10 organizations, they are finding a loophole, okay, to shortcut any taxes or any other things and then make a quick money out of it. Okay, so that is one attribute of culture. The shared vision, beliefs and expectations from, let's say, MD to the lowest level people. Okay. And then operating environment. Okay, the operating environment heavily influenced by the structure, policies, okay, and processes and people centricity. There are so many aspects. Operating environment. Risk tolerance is again, okay, another dimension of organizational culture. You can visualize, okay, for example, a Tata group of companies, what is their risk tolerance? Reliance group of companies, what is their risk tolerance? And also some of the homegrown companies, okay, you would have come across, and the new age companies, okay, what kind of risk tolerance? Okay, so that is another thing. Okay, and of course, the other things like what kind of rules, regulations, policies, procedures. Motivation, rewards, rhythms. It is again a cultural factor. Okay, you may find there are organizations very well invest on people. Okay, in terms of various welfare schemes. Okay, learning and development, and in terms of holidays, leave policy, working hours. Okay, so many perks. There are also other organizations, they don't give too much of training, and if so, they believe that if I give training, if I sponsor for PMP, immediately he will leave the company. So I want to keep him within that boundary. Okay, that's a culture. Okay, and view of leadership, hierarchy and authority within the organization. So all these factors define culture. Now, one thing as a project manager you need to remember, there is nothing called good culture or bad culture. Okay, every organization has a unique culture. Some elements of culture may hinder, okay, may come in conflict, but definitely, okay, violation of code of conduct and then some of the common beliefs, if they don't respect, okay, we can't say that that is a, okay, good culture. But now, when you are part of a project or program, okay, within a specified culture, if you want the project to succeed, okay, so you need to understand the culture and then you need to work. Okay, sometimes, okay, you may even have to change some of the, okay, the beliefs and other systems. Okay, you may have to correct some of their, okay, the practices, okay, including ethical and moral practices. If you find that doesn't align with the norms of the society or the legal regulatory framework. Okay, so before you want to make any change, you need to understand and then you need to work within that, or you need to work towards changing. Now, sometimes change is very difficult. So you need to understand and then make sure that you set the right expectations among the key stakeholders. Okay. So let me keep moving. The structure plays a very, very important role in terms of supporting organizational change. So you need to understand, okay, the overall enterprise level organization structure and the project program level, the structure, and what kind of structure is more conducive for the project that you are working on. And then you need to make okay, back and forth changes. If that is not possible within the available framework, you need to set the right expectations among the stakeholders and use appropriate life cycle model practices, tailoring, okay, all those things you need to do in order to make the project successful. Okay, I'm not getting into the nitty-gritties of the various structure elements that you are expected to know since you have already attended the training. We have discussed it. Okay. Any questions up to this stage? Culture and then structure. Okay, any questions so far? Okay, I'll keep moving. So this is something, okay, which is not there in the prep manual. So I picked it from the 7th edition. You all know that the 7th edition carries a set of principles, okay, and then a set of domains. Okay, there are 12 principles and 8 domains that govern project management. One of the principle is change. Okay, that's why I wanted to give you that focus. I'll read it out for you. Prepare those impacted for the adoption and sustainment of the new and different behaviors and processes required for the transition from the current state to the future state created by the project outcome. You see, the principle is so profound. Okay, so you have to prepare, okay, for adoption and sustainment, okay, and the required transition from the current state to the future state, okay, and the future state to be created by the project outcome. So it goes beyond, okay, the deliverable, okay, it should be outcome. And how do we do that is the second part. Okay, some guidelines. A structured approach, okay, to change that helps individuals, groups, and organizational transition. Change can originate from internal influences or external sources. Okay, that means you can make the change from within yourself or your organization, or you can seek some external support to influence the change in the form of consultants or other okay, support. Enabling change can be very challenging as not all stakeholders will embrace change. So that means you need to prepare for resistance to change. How do I overcome change? Attempting too many changes in a short time can lead to change fatigue or resistance. Okay, so you can't, it is very difficult for you to change. If it is a physical gathering, I would have given you a small exercise. Now being a virtual, it is very difficult to do that. Okay, if somebody is loaded with too much of change, it induces change fatigue. Okay, and in turn, you will see resistance from the people. Okay, and then stakeholder engagement and motivational approaches assist in change adoption. Okay, so these are the few guidelines how you should, okay, cope up and be an instrumental or catalyst for change. Any questions? I'm sure there will be some questions. No questions? Why everybody is very silent?
Sir, why is there a resistance to change?
Okay. See, I will at least narrate, okay, the exercise. Usually what we do is, we ask all the participants, okay, to divide it into two groups in pairs, okay, men different, women different, okay, and then we ask them to give some 2 minutes and ask them to make 5 changes in their body, okay, in 2 minutes. So you can see they will be very happy to participate. Okay, they'll change, they'll remove the specs. Okay, they will change the chapel, and then they will do some gimmicks in their hair or dress or whatever it is, and then ask the other person to identify. Okay, done. Okay, so then, okay, good job. And then we'll ask, okay, do 5 more changes. Okay, then they will say, come on, how can I make 5 more changes in my body? Okay, then we said, okay, be creative, try. Okay, so then they will go and try making some pencil mark somewhere, this, that, and all. Okay, now by now you will see that they'll become like a clown. Okay, because initially they'll be very happy to change, and then so there are many things will undergo change in their, okay, look and feel, and they will, with a lot of hesitance, they will do that and then come back and then give some word of appreciation. And okay, this is the last and final. Make 5 more changes. If we tell them, they'll in a chorus they'll say, please, no, we can't. Okay, which is very natural. Okay, change is very difficult. So you need to come out of your comfort zone, and usually it may create fatigue and resistance among the people. Sometimes even the very first 5 changes, people will struggle how to make that change. Now, this is simple as a small exercise we do. But if someone asks you to change at your very behavior, your habit, okay, it is very difficult. Okay, very difficult. Okay, I'm sure we also experience it in our own life. Make sense?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Now I'm going to talk about 2-3 theories or approaches to make changes. Okay, so these things you have to go to an extended literature. Some of you would have already studied it as part of your MBA or something. Okay, this is part of PMI's practice guide for manage change in organization. So if you get an opportunity, you can download this practice guide from pmi.org as a member benefit, and then there is a full guide on how to make org level changes. So this speaks about formulate the change, a 5-step process. The element focuses on building a rationale to help people understand why change is essential. Okay, so you need to properly justify, okay, why change is needed, and then how the future state will look better. Okay, you need to define the future state, and then you need to formulate it, and then you need to plan for it, because it takes time, it takes effort, it takes money. From current state to future state, you need to have a plan, and then you go for implement the change, okay, according to the plan, okay, and move from current state to future state, and manage the transition. Okay, this is very important. How and address the needs related to change. Okay, the new may involve a lot of adjustments. Okay, so a lot of problems may come up. Okay, to manage that transition. And then sustainability is much more important. So if you don't manage the transition and sustain it, quickly they will get back to their original state. Okay, they will slide back to the normal. You can see in many organizations, okay, process improvements and other things fail because they don't plan for this transition and sustainment better. Okay, they'll quickly get back to normal. Okay, you need to maintain the asset or the process properly. You need to ease their bottlenecks. Okay, there should be an incentive for them to adapt the change. So all those things should be there. Otherwise, as long as there is a supervision and other things they'll follow, the moment that is removed, they will get back to normal. So this is okay, the PMI guideline as part of managed change. But the PMI don't just limit it to their own approach for change. Okay, they also suggest other models. Whichever model is more suitable, you are free to adapt. Okay, the second model is ADKAR model. Okay, it is an acronym by Jeff Heyer. So ADKAR stands for awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. So in essence, you will see most of these things will follow the same pattern, but some specific differences you will find. So you need to identify why the change is necessary. Okay, earlier it was called formulate the change, why the change is necessary. Here we call it as a awareness. Okay, why do we need to change? Okay, now it's something like if you don't change, you will perish. You need to create that awareness among the people. Okay, if they don't adapt, you see companies like Indian Airlines, they're all struggling because they don't feel that sense of urgency. Okay, creating that sense of urgency, awareness. Second, okay, the step is desire. Once the people know why the change is necessary, okay, you need to create a desire in them as part of supporting the change. They should not feel that, hey, it is tough, it is going to be difficult, can I cope up at all? Okay, so you need to create that desire in that. Okay, that means if there is any stumbling blocks, is there any adoption issues, okay, you need to remove it and then you need to incentivize it so that they get a desire. And once they get a desire, then you provide the knowledge. Okay, so they need to understand the new processes, the new systems, the new roles, responsibilities. Okay, so you need to provide training and appropriate education, knowledge. Okay, that may not be sufficient. Okay, you need to handhold them. Okay, now there is a big gap between knowledge and ability. So you can teach them how to drive the car. Okay, but with simply a knowledge, if you put him on the behind the steering wheels, then it's a big risk for the people as well as for himself and the car. Okay, so you need to handhold and build that capability or skill set to do that. So that support is essential. And then you need to again sustain it. Okay, put a reinforcement. That means, okay, take the feedback, reward it, recognize it, measure it, and then make sure that they become experts and then sustain the effort. So this is called ADKAR model, okay, of change. Okay, the pattern remains the same, some specific elements. And there is one more, actually there are two more discussed, okay, but I have picked up only one more. This is very important. I think it is also there in the PMI prep guide for PMP, John Kotter's 8-step process for leading change. Okay, if you say I want to stick to one, you please stick to this. Okay, so these are the 8 steps. You may get a question in the exam as well. The first step is to create a sense of urgency. Okay, I already show why change is necessary, awareness. Here he call it as a create a sense of urgency. Now the sense of urgency could be in the form of a threat. That means if you don't change, you will perish. Okay, make it clear to them. Okay, or okay, show them by changing what kind of opportunities, okay, that is awaiting for us to enjoy. Okay, so you highlight this, okay, and then drive the need for change. That is the first step. Okay, typically this is a top-down approach. Okay, the senior management should be committed for it. Second, form a powerful coalition. Okay, they use the word coalition because it will be a kind of a heterogeneous group. Okay, so identify change leaders. Okay, not necessarily all senior folks. Okay, whoever is having a different combination of skill sets. Okay, in order to influence people. Okay, someone may be having a good kind of charismatic. Okay, someone may have a good knowledge driven. Okay, someone may have some good positional power. Okay, like that, you pick up people, okay, who are change agents or catalysts or leaders, and then form a task force. Okay, a group of influential people, and define, okay, the agenda for them. Okay, create that sense of urgency, entrust, okay, empower them. Okay. And then as a leader, you can also be part of this coalition, but they should have that a good atmosphere of empowerment, taking decision, driving change within the organization. Joining and then you dictating it doesn't work out. And then create a vision for change. Okay, very important. Okay, yeah, a brief vision which you can communicate in 5 minutes to anyone, a daily worker to a CTO. Okay, create a vision for the change. Along with that, a direction, a strategy. Okay, so you don't need to do that. You can be part of it, but empower the change leaders, the task force. Okay, to do that. And then communication is very, very important. Okay, there should be a kind of clear, focused, okay, communication across the organization, okay, across the boundaries. Okay, there should be a communication, okay, that will demonstrate the urgency, the benefits, the vision, and the approach need to be communicated. And then you move on. As you start okay, implementing, find out what are all the possible obstacles. So the obstacle may be a structure, it may be a process, it may be some people resistant to change, or it could be age-old policy. Okay, anything could be an obstacle. Okay, be prepared to let go. Okay, whatever it is, okay, you should prepare to remove those obstacles. Okay, it needs a lot of boldness, okay, for that. And then don't go for a big bang approach, create a short-term win. Okay, pick up a low-hanging fruit, implement in that area, demonstrate the benefit, okay, and then build a momentum and support from that a short-term quick win. Okay, that is the step number 7. Once the short-term wins are completed, the organization needs to set a goal for a continual spiraling up in terms of the change. And don't jump into celebration. Okay, anchor the change. Okay, to bring okay a transformation within the organization. So you need to celebrate quick wins, but don't get into complacency, inertia, saying that we have achieved the goal. No. Okay, it's a continuous journey, a long way to go. Okay, but you can tell the success stories, recognize the people, okay, empower the change, and then continue the coalition in terms of the long-term journey. I just explained it in maybe in 5 minutes. You can visit this video. it has about a 15-minute time along with a case study from a manufacturing company, how it has been implemented, okay, by this organization. I have given the link, you can just go and look at it. But there will be a lot of case studies, okay, which you can refer to. Even the Nokia case study is there in the internet. You can go and listen. Okay, it's a very interesting topic. So organization structure, as I told you, I'm not going to explain it. And you all know EEF and OPA. You should be aware of EEF and then make sure that your project plan, okay, is built around those enterprise environmental factors. They may put constraints on your project, okay, so make sure that they are properly addressed. The same way internal is to the organization, that is OPA. OPA will help you, okay, if necessary, to incorporate the change. You may even tailor the processes and policies, okay, or take exceptions, change. The same way knowledge base can find out, okay, have they attempted before, what kind of problems they face, how do I learn lessons out of it, and then make sure that my change journey is successful. Okay. So other things, I don't want to overtale, you all know it. Okay, you should have a change management plan. You have a proper rollout plan. Okay, the rollout plan is nothing but output to outcome. Okay, so that's very, very important. Okay, you have to have a proper rollout plan that may include training, awareness, and other adjustments to processes, etc., etc. Okay, that needs to be imparted as needed. Okay, now this is just to sum up guidelines. Okay, how to facilitate change. So you can read them out. But what I want you to listen to you is there is one. I listened to a couple of videos, but this is one video from McKinsey on change management. I thought we all see it together. Okay, before that, I would like to take few questions and then we can go into this video. Afterwards, I want okay, couple of you to share at least one or two your own experience, okay, in terms of how some disruptive changes, okay, affected your project and how did you handle it. Okay, is one part I want you to share, and how you imported change as part of your project, either within your organization or at the customer. Okay, so I want these two experiences to be shared. So I want to leave some good time for these two reflective questions and then for this video. So before we get into it, I would like to open it for a few questions. So we have here 6 people from our alumni and our own internal audience, another 5-6 people. Deepthi, you are from ISB, no?
No, sir, from JP Morgan.
Oh, JP Morgan. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Sir, I have a quick question
Yes.
about change management. So when we talk about this change, we are actually, I mean, in our earlier classes or from what we have seen in the prep guide and all that. So this one, we are seeing it actually as a separate entity, like change management and configuration management. So it's not, something that's captured in the project charter, or because we have to change, we have to plan for the change as well, right? So
Correct.
as we
Correct.
are planning for the unknown risk or known risk, so are we I mean, is this considered in the planning phase primarily, when, sir, I'm not sure if I was able to convey my question properly.
No, you are right, you are right, you are right. Okay, what we see extensively is change control. Okay, so change control have a process and a board, okay, and a system, okay, configuration management system. Okay, now this is important, okay, in any project, especially if the project follows a predictive life cycle. Okay, now this is one part of it which we handled through integrated change control, and then as part of monitoring and control, every process will initiate a change that will go through, okay, change control, change approval process, and then do that. Okay, so that's why, okay, I categorize it as one aspect of change. Actually, that was what we discussed in the last webinar. Okay, now here, okay, we talk about a completely other side, okay, support, okay, organizational change. Okay, now this is a change, okay, that, okay, the project should enable or embrace. Okay, and if you want to, you should not treat it as it is a bottleneck or it is a hindrance. So if you want to do this, okay, this has to be planned, as you rightly said. Okay, you have to plan for this change. Okay, right in the beginning. Okay, for example, when you establish the feasibility for the project, okay, and then come up with the business case and then justify the project. Okay, even at that stage, this part need to be discussed. Okay, we are going ahead and implementing, let's say I'll take an example. Okay, a company is following different systems. For manufacturing, they have some localized system. For supply chain, they have some their own legacy system. Finance, they have some tally. And then quality control, they use something. Okay, all of them are working in silos. It was good when the company is small. Okay, but as they grow, they find that they are all working in silos, create a lot of kind of red tapeism, and interconnection is not there. So they decide to go for, let's say, an end-to-end resource planning called ERP. And then they decide to go for, let's say, SAP. Okay, so they see that technically it is very good. Okay, the company who is selling the service says that you can move your turnover from 4 to 40 crores in 3 years. Okay, there is no scale up issue. The same set of employees are good enough. Okay, so they put a very interesting picture and say that the whole cost is going to be only 1.5 crores. Something like that. I'm just giving you an example, or maybe 40 crores to 400 crores. Okay. Now the CEO got carried forward. Wow, a 10x growth in 3 years is phenomenal. And the guys who, let's say venture capital or someone who says that, yeah, unless we have this system, this company continue to be very legacy, I don't want to invest. So they also may ask you to do that. Now what we need to remember is the organization ready for it? Okay, so now there are many organizations. Okay, it was a big failure, it was a flop. Okay, technically those guys will come and install, give the training, will go, but you will see they will carry, as I told you, okay, a BMW is pulled by a bullock cart. Okay, that's how it is. It's a huge system and they are not able to cope up, and they do both. They continue with the manual system and also they follow the automated system. Now, earlier at least they pay within 30 days. Now it becomes 60 days for the vendor payment. And if you ask them why, they say that no, our SAP makes it so complex. We are not able to do anything with our own discretion. We have to go through the process. We have to go through the tool. That is how the setting is made. This is not the purpose of automating end to end. Okay, so these changes, what I'm trying to say is, should be planned. Okay, is the people ready for it? Are we ready to follow the new set of processes? Do we have that skill set? Can our people cope up with the simple training? What kind of structural level and other changes that we need to make? All those things need to be studied. Okay, and then the project needs to be undertaken. Have I answered you, Deepti?
Yeah, absolutely, sir. My point also was that only that it has to be taken care at the time of feasibility study and business case, and you rightly explained. Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. All right, any other questions from anyone? Sriram, Vapan?
I am good.
Okay, good. So this will take about 9 minutes, this video, but I found it very good. And if it comes from McKinsey, okay, obviously you will see this is a good piece. It is not really a case study, but she explains what is McKinsey's strategy in terms of impacting the change. Okay, let us listen to it and then we'll get into a brief another Q&A through that reflective questions. Shall I present? Yeah, Prashant, you need to help how they can view the video. Prashant, should I need to do some adjustment before I move on? I think.
Yes, sir. But while sharing, if it asks for any audio, we need to just.
Then.
Top right corner, we have include computer audio. So we need to, while sharing, sir.
While sharing, 1 second.
Yeah. Just below that button, it is asking include computer sound.
1 second. Okay. Thank you, Sam.
No, we can't hear you, Prashantana. He sent a message.
Why I'm not able to switch on it, Sam?
He's typing something, Prashant. It
Go
is
to
there,
your
sir.
device auto settings and select headset. Okay. Device. 1 second. Device settings. Then.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, Prashant.
Sir. What is it saying?
No. That audio setting, it is not allowing. For example,
share audio, if you say.
Share.
No, when you click on share.
What should I do? Prashant?
Again, we lost his voice, sir.
He said something on device setting. Screen share with audio. That's right. Okay, but that's not coming up, no? Second.
Is it not coming from the link that's there in the deck, sir?
No, it will come in the link, but I need to allow the video's audio to be heard. Okay, that's setting.
Sir, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, Prashant. Yes, Prashant.
Yes. Just leave your mouse for a second.
Yeah. Okay. You put on share. Okay.
So your Teams is in second screen, huh?
Teams. Okay.
Can you please drag it into first screen, please?
Now it is a Teams in first screen. Okay. 1 second. Okay, that
Yeah.
could be the reason. Okay.
One second.
Device settings. Headset. Live scene.
Just a minute. Oh, you're connected to Bluetooth, right?
Yeah, shall I switch it off?
1 second. Can you please switch it off once?
I'll switch it off. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Fast that the spelling errors or some of my
Yeah, we are able to hear the sound.
Yeah.
%70 that fail, what you find is that 70% of the time, 70% of major change programs don't achieve the objectives they set out to. And when you look at that 70% that fail, what you find is that 70% of the time, it's because of the human issues, the organization issues, the culture issues. Sometimes it's the employees who don't really understand it or don't feel personally motivated to change. Sometimes it's because management's not on board. Sometimes it's because the top team isn't engaged. One of the organizations I've worked with recently, it's a large energy company, and the CEO was absolutely convinced that he had a very clear vision and strategy. So we organized the workshop and we used some of the anonymous voting machines. The first question we put up was, we have a clear and compelling strategy for our business. 100% of the people in the room voted yes. The second question we put up was, our strategy is, and we listed 6 completely different statements of where they could take that company. Each statement got 2 votes. At that point, the CEO blew up, left the room, but actually they needed to have a breakdown in order to get a breakthrough, because that was the only way we could have an open and honest discussion about the fact they were all in completely different places, and not surprisingly, were creating confusion and chaos in the organization because they were sending very, very different signals and messages. This video is very much about engaging with our clients, engaging with our colleagues to help them understand what some of the success factors are in really making change successful and sustainable over time. Many CEOs believe that common sense just needs to become common practice. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. If I give an example, one of the things that many CEOs do is they try to engage other people with what excites and inspires them personally. One of the CEOs I've been working with recently, he's the head of a major pharma company. And for him, the vision of where he wanted to take this company was he wanted to go and be number 1. But when we started testing it with people across the organization, what we found was actually for a lot of the sales reps, frankly, being number 1, yeah, fine, but it wasn't really what got them engaged. So over time, we worked with the CEO and we helped him develop a story where what he was going to do was absolutely consistent everywhere, but why resonated with many, many different people. So he started talking about the fact that this was transforming medicine, finding cures for illnesses that are currently incurable. He talked about the journey that they would go on as a team, continuing to grow in a period of major patent expiration. And he talked about the individual rewards that were going to come. And by doing all of this, they were going to be number 1. And as I was sitting listening to him with 150 other people, what resonated for each of the people sitting at that table was something different. But each of them left motivated, excited, and passionate about making that vision a reality. There are at least 5 sources of meaning. around society and mission, about the customer, about the company, about the team, and about me personally. And as CEOs and senior executives engage on why this matters, it's really important to appeal to each of those 5 sources of meaning. We looked at the S&P 500, and one of the interesting things, if you look at 1935, is the average lifespan of a company on that list was 90 years. If you fast forward to 2010, that average lifespan has dropped to only 14 years. Half of the companies on the list in 2010 will not be there in 2017. Now, they won't all go bust, but what it does mean is the necessity of being able to change yourself. Perhaps one of the classic examples is the Italian Postal Service. They hadn't made a profit in half a century. Their quality standards were so low they didn't achieve the minimum on the European standard scale. And yet, in the period of about 3 or 4 years, they went from that initial starting point to being the 3rd largest financial services institution in Italy. Now, it's that kind of transformation where there's no going back, where it's a radical step change in skills and mindsets and capabilities and processes. That's what we're trying to achieve. When we look at a transformation, we typically think about 5 frames. The first one is being really clear about where you're going. It's about aspire. What's your vision? What's your strategy? What are the targets? And how do you create a really compelling story that's going to engage your organization? If you're not very clear on those targets, your chance of success isn't 30%, which is the average. It's actually only 12%. Where you have very clearly defined targets, you more than double your chances of success. Once you've gone through the aspire phase, it's then critical to assess. When organizations actually spend the time to really look hard at whether they have the capabilities to succeed and whether they have the mindsets to succeed, they're between 4 and 6 times more likely to be successful. The third step is to architect. So once you have a clear vision of where you want to go and you know where you are today, you then need to create a plan that's going to get you from here to there. It's also about how do you change individuals. What we found is that there are 4 things that need to be in place. The first one is they have to understand why they have to change, and it has to mean something to them individually. The second thing is all the systems and processes need to be in place to reinforce the new set of behaviors. The third lever is they have to have the skills to do it. And then the fourth lever, which actually is the most powerful of all, is the role modeling. So people they trust and respect, people they admire, have to behave in the new way too. I'd like to just emphasize that last one because according to all the research, it is the most important. One of the CEOs that we've worked with, who's the head of a major bank, he was driving a transformation program around customer focus. And he goes into one of the retail branches and he notices that the windows are dirty. And so he mentions this to the staff. The next morning when he comes back, he notices that the windows are still dirty. And he rolls up his sleeves and he starts washing the windows in front of every single member of that retail branch. Within 2 days, there is not a dirty window in any of the retail branches anywhere in the country. So now that you've architected your plan, you now need to act. And typically what we find is that transformations are a journey. They often start with a big burst of enthusiasm and excitement. And then typically what you find, sometimes 6 months, sometimes 12 months in, is that there's a dip. It gets really hard. Energy starts to flag. Results may not come through quite as quickly as you want. And what's really important is to make sure that you've got things that will create energy, that will give momentum, that will give people confidence they're heading in the right direction. It takes having a story that cuts through the noise. It takes having some quick wins. Sometimes it means stopping things, and sometimes it actually means being willing to make tough decisions on people. Last but not least is advance. A transformation is a phenomenal opportunity to build skills, to develop leaders, to make sure that you've got your best talent focused on the most critical issues for your business. So when change really works, you can go in and you can look and touch it and feel it. You can see people who are excited, who are passionate, who are doing things they never thought possible, who genuinely believe in the power and the impact of what they've done and feel like they have personally grown tremendously from the experience. One of the clients I work with, they have seen their share price literally increase by 5 times in the last 5 years. You walk into the organization and everybody is incredibly motivated and excited and passionate about their jobs. It's that feeling, it's that sensation that you can, it's hard to describe, but when you experience it, you never forget it.
Okay, thank you.
landing page and chosen not to take any action at all.
Good. So we have seen it. I think this is quite relevant and useful. So let me just open it. You have any success stories yourself to share? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So anyone, you have any success stories? Bapan, Sriram, Venkatesh, Joshua, Deepti. 1:1.
Sir, if
If
my
you share
life,
one
I
story,
think my
I'll
life
share
is
one
still.
story. Yes, yes, Joshua.
Sorry, sir. Actually, I was about to say. I mean, am I audible, sir?
Yeah, yeah. Maybe little louder.
Okay. Little louder. Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say that if life is considered a project, I made an a disruptive change, but it's still in the process of unraveling. So
Okay, okay.
I won't be able to give you a tangible answer to that. Yeah.
Okay, maybe 3 months down the line, you will be able to share.
Yeah, probably, sir. Yes, sir. Most likely. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, good. I made such a change about 25 years back, 23 years back. Okay, it was very exciting. So that's why I'm able to sit before you. Okay, I was not raised up in my corporate for this role. Okay, so it is exciting. Okay, anybody else? Have you
I would share
experienced any
my
disruptive
personal.
change as part of the organizational change and how it affected you, your project? Yes, Sriram.
Yeah, I would like to share one. It's a change basically in terms of with the recent assignment which I had done in the FMCG segment. The organization was having a lot of warehouses. They do close to about 75 to 100 CR turnover. But the process that they were currently following it up was because they started up very small and they were just expanding in the wherever there was a possibility. So when I just chipped in, I had to think about and as you rightly mentioned in the beginning, people are very reluctant to change, more out of their comfort zones, be it the top management, some of them, and as well as the key performing guys. But that was actually putting a strain on the ground level people, and in the coordination, there were a lot of filling up gaps, and that was actually straining a lot to the people and who are coordinating the activity. So I had taken that to a next level. I just had to develop an idea. I'd taken them to certain places and shown them how they can be more effective, how the small change that they can do, and that took them and made them to decide on that. And actually, it is now shaping up. Day before yesterday, I had gone to that place and seen. Because though I am out of that project, but still I'm handholding them, and they were also excited about things that I've seen it and put them on the task. Now they are doing it themselves. So they have realized that it's how it can simplify their work in terms of physical activity first, and also the coordinating activity. Even the top management, which was reluctant earlier because they were seeing that it is going to increase their cost. So I had to show them on their Excel sheets how this coordinating activity, which because they were only the coordinating activity was taking out a lot of brain, out of finances also, but it was not all of a sudden at one point. It was at multiple points. Let us say there were 20, 30 points where 1,000 rupees per day was going off. They were not able to see it or probably realize it, rather, to be more precise. But now they are seeing it, how much value addition, how much convenience, and all those things can be happening. So I feel, okay, I could be a part of it and got it done. And of course, I gave a word to them that I will handhold them till it gets operational. So that's a part of it, which I just would like to share at this point.
Okay, okay. Good, thank you. And people level change, anyone attempted within your organization in terms of culture, in terms of,
Sir,
yeah.
Sir Bapan here.
Yes, Baban.
So I'm working in a rural development sector that in the initial stage where we were working on the community-based organization and formation of community-based organization and giving skill development training on institution-based. Then we realized that if we give only the institution-based support, the sustainability will not come, because the beneficiary related to the CBOs, they should have some livelihood aspect, and if they do not earn money, they cannot be attached with the CBOs. Then we have changed our policies to build their capacity to community based, and side by side the agricultural, animal husbandry and fishery, these types of livelihood training and support we are giving the beneficiaries, and they adopt the good practice of agriculture, modern scientific practice of agriculture, and they have made their income from the practice. And this change has affected to our organization policy, and that's why we are working in different types of government projects and CSR projects.
Very good.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. Okay. Yeah, I think these things, no, as she said, in her their share value has increased by 10x, and people are so excited. The same thing in social driven projects. So when we see a kind of transformation in the lives of the people and societies, actually it gets a tremendous satisfaction. It gives to the people who go through the change and also the people who implement that schemes and then bringing that change in the society. Okay, it's a very powerful.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yeah, good. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Any other things? Of course, I have not been part of any social development project, but in terms of I've seen at the individual level. Okay, it started with as Joshua said. Okay, so I've seen in my own life and a little bit of my help to somebody within my organization and beyond my organization. So when we are part of the change, we see how they realize the benefits. But at the system level, I was part of many organizations, especially where I worked in Chennai. Okay, the company which was absolutely getting into kind of closure. Okay, if you don't act on it, the whole 150 crores investment will be wasted. Okay, that was the scenario. So you saw that, no, create a sense of urgency. Okay, why change is essential. So we fought against a very powerful enterprise environmental factors in terms of marketplace, import duty, and went and made left and right changes, okay, into plant, equipments, processes, and so many areas, policies, operations, maintenance, in terms of investments. Okay, I wrote a big thesis about it in my MBA. Okay, and it took about 3 years, I think 3 to 4 years, and then made that project viable. Okay, so That was a big change, okay, in terms of, I would say, policies, processes, procedures, and even the plant layouts, operations, taking a lot of risks, okay, in transforming the whole plant and machineries. Okay, that was a very fascinating experience. And this happened, yeah, 15 plus 10, 25 years back. Okay, so those things what we did during 1993, 96. Okay, even today that company and the plant is running at 200% capacity. Okay, so it's very, very memorable, and it helped me to also even in consulting career. Okay, how we can boldly make changes, and that will bring, if you are convinced how you should model the change, walk through the change. Okay, we have just seen you have to be a role model, and so there are many risks that we have taken, and then role modeled it, and it helped the company. So that's my bit of it. And also we could see as part of this PMP journey, okay, how some people are so introvert and very, very, I won't say, I will say that their lack of confidence, lack of their own ability. But then when you try to help them, okay, through this PMP journey, okay, suddenly how they become so powerful. I've seen in many people, many individuals. Okay, before PMP and after PMP, their confidence level, their profile, okay, the growth they registered is exponential and significant. Not just by passing the exam, there is also an important factor, but how they took it and then understood and internalized, and then made sincere attempts to practice it. So all those people are experiencing phenomenal, okay, change in their own career as well as part of the organization. In fact, one of the organization is Nirman, based at Hyderabad. All their top leaders, about 10 to 15 of them, they have taken the exam and they have taken the training, but exam is too costly for them because they don't draw that much salaries. But I tell you, they implemented a lot of practices, and they speak about it in big forums, and the organization is going through an exponential growth. Okay, they are able to behave as a role models to their employees and others. Okay, so that's a little bit of examples that I can share. Okay, I think it's time is up, and so let's get into a quiz. Unless you have any specific questions, you can ask. Sam, you can take over, Sam. Okay, I'll stop my sharing. Quickly, I want you to finish it in 10 minutes so that we can complete the session at 8:05. Okay?
Sure, sir. Yes.
Okay.
So, hello all, good evening. We will quickly have a small quiz. As usual, what we have regularly. I'll put the URL in the chat. So all of you just open your devices and type kahoot.it. It's an online game-based quiz. I'll share my screen and just give the URL and then enter the.
We are yet to see your screen.
Yes, sir. Yes. So you can give this game pin. Just type kahoot.it on your devices and you'll get this pin. It will ask for game pin. Enter the game pin. which is there on my screen. All right, 4 have joined, 5. That's it? Okay. All right, sir. I'll just I'm starting the game then.
Anyone would like to join? Not able to, please, you can ask Sam to wait. Okay, Sam,
Yes.
go ahead.
Yeah. I think we can start. Yeah. All right, 3, 2, 1. You'll get the question. First question. Which of the following factor can affect the availability of resources? Organizational structure, organizational governance, personal administration, organizational culture. So you have to give your answer in 30 seconds. We have 5 seconds more. Okay, organizational structures is the right answer. So Deepthi is on top, followed by others. You can see scoreboard on my screen. Okay, let's move forward to the next question. Because we have 7 questions, okay? 6 remaining. Choose the organizational structure where the authority of the project manager is the highest. Fifteen seconds more. Projectized organization is the right answer. 3 gave the right answers. All right, Venkatesh sir came to the top again. For the second part. Okay, let's move forward. And the next question is a multi-choice question, sir. So you have to pick up 2 right answers. And then after giving the 2 right answers, you need to just press the submit. Okay. It will
This
come
is
on
one
your
type
screen.
of the question PMI is asking now. So good you introduced it, Sam.
Yes, sir. Which of the following are the ADKAR model steps? Knowledge, create urgency, ability, remove obstacles. We have 1 minute for this question. You can.
Wow.
Okay, knowledge and ability. These are the among 5. These are the 2 right answers. I'll go next. Sairam came to the top. Okay, let's see the next one. Sriram, sir. Yes.
Okay.
The next one. Dash drive change in organizations, portfolio, projects, programs, operations. Six more seconds. Okay, surprising to see portfolios and programs also. The right answer is projects that drive changes in organization. Okay. All right, the next one. Next question. Which among the following is John Cotter's step process for leading change? Create a vision for change, awareness, desire, ability.
Any step or?
One, sir, any one. One is the right answer, sir. Only one.
Oh, okay.
Time up. I should put more time, I guess, then for this question.
That's good. Many people have answered it.
Correct, sir. Yeah.
Well,
Create a vision for change. We have one more question on the same, but let us see. So Sriram is keep topping the board. Okay, the next one. Market demand is considered as dash to initiate a project. Requirement, scope, context, or contract.
super question, Sam. Very good question. Okay, great. Nice answer also.
Context is the right answer. Shall I move on, sir, or you want to?
Over, no, it's okay. I think we saw, no, the 5 characteristics. Context is one characteristic.
Yeah.
So to initiate a project, context is very important. Okay, next.
The requirement is not a need. So if it is need, then it can be considered as
correct.
initiative.
Oh, it's
yeah.
okay. Only one person answered it.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought 4 have answered it.
Less.
So the whole equation is going to change. Okay.
Okay. The last question. I think it's an easy one. According to John Kotter, how many process steps for leading change?
This is a bonus.
A bonus. Yeah.
Everyone will answer, Sam.
So we have 6 more seconds. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, three.
Okay.
8 steps we have.
Correct. 8 steps for John Kotter.
That's it, sir.
Okay, good.
3 out of 7 Deepthi and 4 out of 7 Venkatesh. 5 out of 7
is
Sriram.
Sriram, congratulations.
We have 2 more, sir. Josh and
Thank you, sir.
and it is you.